Spring break, bitches. Look, I'm gonna be real with you. First of all, hello, if you're seeing the video. I know that I look insane, and this is my costume for this week. First and foremost, it's currently midnight, and I really thought, okay, so there was a mariachi band, not really, but essentially outside of my house, like all fucking day until 5 p.m. And then I had to leave at 5 p.m. to go do things. And so here I am at midnight recording the pod. I still have things to do, and I'm like at the point where I don't think, even though this podcast is supposed to be like all over the fucking place, I don't think it's good for either of us, to be honest, if I am running my mouth at midnight until 2 a.m. doing this podcast. So I'm gonna do what I can do tonight, and then maybe I'll be in another fucking costume tomorrow, and then I'll edit and upload this podcast on the same day, because that's how we roll. I did have 2 other costumes earlier today, but they just were not the vibe. They weren't. I'll put in photos of them. So here I am. I forget which girl is wearing the neon bikini. I want to say it's Vanessa Hudgens in Spring Breakers. I remember watching that when it came out, and I think I was in high school. Maybe the beginning of high school. I can't really remember, but I remember watching that. I feel as though it was not about anything. And why was the hype for that so big? Was it just because like all the girls in it? I don't fucking remember. But that's what I am right now. We're gonna talk a little bit. I'm gonna evaluate if I should continue to be on the mic at this hour. You know what I mean? Like, I'm usually up till 3 a.m. minimum. But that doesn't mean that I should be on a microphone and on camera at that hour. Let's address the elephant in the room. And by that, I mean, I guess the title of this episode? Probably. I mean, I'm assuming. Yes, the rumors are true. Just kidding. There were not rumors. I do, in fact, have a boyfriend. Speaking of which, I just FaceTimed him for almost an hour. No, was that over an hour? Holy shit. Because I put this mask on. It was like 10:30. I was going to sit down and do the podcast, and legitimately 2 seconds after I put the mask on, he FaceTimed me. And I was like, oh, well, this is just going to be a quick call. So like, I'm going to leave the mask on. It's never a quick call. My face is hot and sweaty. I'm just thinking about that because I was like, are you in a weird mood? And he was like, I just feel disconnected from you because you're wearing a fucking ski mask. And I'm wondering if you watching this also are feeling that. Or if you're watching this and you're like, that ski mask looks familiar to me. Haven't I seen a video of you wearing that before? You would be correct. But we're not talking about that right now because we are talking about the fact that I have a boyfriend. So I feel like because it's a big part of my life and I talk about my life, let's just talk about it, shall we? Basically, I met who I have been referring to as Suit Man. We might have to change that just because I feel like I'm just really ripping off Collar Daddy, but genuinely, it's the only name that I can, that I feel like it works. Anyway, I met Suit Man in July, and ever since we met, we have not left each other alone, essentially. But it is in fact official now. Do with that what you will. I am taken, bitches, okay? We've already gone through like a lot together, and we've done a lot together, so it kind of honestly feels like it's been about a year, but also in the best way possible. And honestly, I see, this is why I shouldn't be doing this right now, because I'm just gonna say things. I am honestly just ready to fucking have a baby, become a mommy vlogger, obviously blur their faces because like people are crazy, and enter my mom era. I'm just kidding. I don't think I will ever be a mommy vlogger. I do realize that I said that immediately after, just as a follow-up to I have a boyfriend. So that probably sounds really unhinged and like, what? But it's really not out of the realm of possibility, to be honest. But actually, I think I want to be 32, I would say, when I have my first kid, which is crazy because when I was younger, I thought that I would like probably be done having kids at 32, but I'm like so glad that I didn't go down the path that I almost went down when I was, well, not that it was necessarily bad, like it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't right for me. Like to get married at 22 and also just not experience everything that I already have experienced in my 20s. I don't even know. I cannot imagine what my life would be like if I had gone that route. I would have like a 6-year-old right now or some shit. That's wild. As it is Monday. Well, it's technically Tuesday now. Fucking midnight. I figure I'll do a little weekend recap. I'm going to keep my weekend recaps short and just in a few words. And they're they're gonna leave a lot to be desired, which is perfect. Okay, this is like itching my nose so much. This past weekend, I played therapist to my boyfriend's grown adult friends. I went to a nightclub to see Ty Dollar Sign, but he quite literally canceled. But we didn't even know that until it was like 1 a.m. and he should have already been on. That's when we found out. So that was lit. I didn't go shopping for Halloween costumes and everything this weekend like I was supposed to, but actually before this pod I went and got a bunch of shit so that I can literally Susie homemaker. Like, I am DIY, I am home ec, I am a sewing machine. Okay, I'm like crafting so many elements of my costumes and also some of my boyfriend's costumes. So that's why you're getting me as a spring breaker right now, because like, believe it or not, I did already have this ski mask. I actually have, I think, every color of ski mask in my possession. What the fuck accent was that? Anyway, I already feel as though I'm not able to put proper sentences together right now, and so for the sake of this episode, I'm gonna come back tomorrow. Okay, it's not gonna matter for you because it's gonna be literally right now, but I might look a little different. I might put this same fucking bikini back on. I feel like it's making me look tan. No? I can't also really see. I might put the same bikini back on. I might put the same ski mask back on. I might be in a fully different costume. You never know what you're gonna get. And that's my motto. And that's what I live my life by. I feel like that's what people in my life may have to live their life by with me. Like, for example, when my boyfriend FaceTimes me and I answer in a ski mask, and I didn't tell him I would be in a ski mask, he really never knows what he's gonna get, you know, when I answer. Most of the time, I would say I'm like a fetus, egg, big toe face, because it's like the end of the night and I'm like looking like a fetus. Sometimes I'm in fucking costume. Maybe I'll just keep this going like throughout the year, like after this month is over, and I'll be like, I thought you were just doing like a Halloween thing. You know what? Maybe I'll fucking dress up for every episode. Honestly, I love that. I love playing dress up. I love embodying another character, which I wanted to do. And since I'm like out of my element right now, you know what? I'm just going to shut the fuck up and come back tomorrow. Okay, we're going to try this again. Take a look at these titties while you still can. Just kidding. You can literally go to onlyannalise.com, which is also the sponsor of today's podcast and also every podcast. Please rate this podcast and leave it a review so that I don't have to have onlyannalise.com be a sponsor. AKA, that's it. That's all. Take that with you on your journey. Okay, I'll see you fuckers in the morning. Okay, bitches, we are back. Did I sleep last night? Negative. I'm delusional, but like in a different way. Like, at least it's 4 p.m. now. You know what I mean? Which means I have to edit and upload this very quickly. But hi, if you're watching the video, I look the same, but different, because I looked up a photo because I was like, which one of these bitches is wearing like the neon bikini? And I realized, since when did they all have a unicorn patch on their ski masks? I don't remember that point of the plot, but they all have a little fucking unicorn. I don't have a unicorn patch, but what I do have is a pink paw print. Because I had to go buy, like I said last night, I was buying some stuff for a costume and I needed a blue paw print, which, okay, that gave away my costume. It came with like some other colors. Also, there is still fucking music happening outside of my apartment. I don't know what's been going on the past couple of days, but like, I don't even know where that's coming from. It makes absolutely no sense. I just hope you can't fucking hear it. My camera is not wanting to recognize that my face is a face, so the lighting's a little bit whack. Where did I leave off? I feel like I recapped my weekend, kind of. This upcoming weekend, really starting tomorrow? No, starting Thursday, the day after tomorrow. What do I have planned? There are a few things. Thursday, I'm going to paint pumpkins with my sister. When we were little, we weren't allowed to carve pumpkins, obviously, because we were like infants, but we just would paint them. And then that kind of like carried on throughout my life. Like, I've always preferred painting pumpkins. I'll carve a pumpkin, you know, don't get me wrong, but I love painting pumpkins. So we're going to do that. And then she's going to meet my boyfriend. After that, we have an event, I don't know what the fuck to call it, on Thursday night that my boyfriend is sponsoring. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be going because I don't love the venue that it's at. However, like I said, I have a lot of costumes. So, you know, we're fucking doing it. And then, yeah, I guess I won't give away all my weekend plans just because, I don't know, stalkers are a very real thing. I really wanted to go to the pumpkin patch before Halloween, this one specific pumpkin patch, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know. Halloween is a week from the day that you're watching this, the day that this comes out anyway, hopefully, if I can get this out today. And I honestly feel like I'm still going to be recovering from my Thursday through Monday festivities, my Halloween situation for actual Halloween, which is on a Tuesday. I don't know what I'm doing yet. There are options. I just don't know how I'm gonna feel. Also, before I continue, I just realized, because I'm like, I feel like I'm talking weird. I am, and that's because earlier this morning I went to take one of my gummy vitamins. I take many gummy vitamins. This one in particular was my iron gummy, okay? I took a bite out of it and suddenly I was crunching on bones, is really what it felt like. Long story short, when I got my tonsils out 2 years ago, the surgeon chipped he chipped one of my teeth, one of my molars. Another molar on the top, he like cracked in half and like half of my tooth fell out. So once my tonsils healed, I had to go get that fixed. And it actually affected the tooth next to it. So like 2 of my top molars on the right side, I had to get partial crowns. I did just lose one of those in a gummy vitamin, which like it clearly wasn't done that well because it's been like 2 years. I don't know how long those are supposed to last, but if a gummy vitamin is what's going to take it out, granted, I'm sure it was like loosened from like all of the ice that I chew. And not that I'm like sitting here chewing ice, but like if there's ice in my drink, I'm going to chew it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it feels very weird. It's like, it's not sharp. It's like smooth. And I already need to go to the dentist to get a root canal for the freaking other tooth that he chipped during the surgery. At the time when I got the top one fixed, it was just like, I just had a chip on one of my molars and they were like, it's not really a big deal. It was like, I don't know if you would call it a chip. It was like a little crack, right? And then about a year ago, I remember I was looking at apartments with my ex and I was chewing gum and suddenly I was crunching on bones. And literally, like, my whole tooth, it must have just finally, after like a year and a half at that point, just that crack could no longer, it's like an earthquake, you know, Pangea or something. Almost all of my tooth just like came out. So I've had like, I would say a quarter of a tooth for a year now. Actually, it might be over a year. And I actually need a root canal with that one and like probably a full crown. So now I'm going to need fucking a root canal, a full crown, probably a partial crown again, I would assume. I'm like, this is not fair. Never in my life did I have to get dental work. Like, I never had a cavity. If it weren't for my fucking tonsil surgeon chipping my teeth and like cracking one of them. I remember my parents being like, I feel like you could sue for that. But then if you look through like all the paperwork, there was something that said like, oh, whatever happens during like this surgery, whether it was like the intubation or like your mouth being opened with whatever, or like the cauterizing, like if anything happens to your teeth, like any chips, like we're not responsible for that. I didn't read the fine print, but even if I had, would it have mattered? No, because the motherfucker still would have fucked my shit up and made me pay so much goddamn fucking money to fix the teeth. And guess what? He didn't even let me keep my tonsils, which was my only request. He sent me a photo of them the next day. I was like, wow, those look like chicken kebabs. Anyway, what was I talking about? I just remember that it felt weird when I was talking and my like tooth kind of hurts now. It feels very nervy. Hopefully that doesn't mean I need like another root canal. Actually, I kept the gummy and the little piece of porcelain. It's like on my desk over there. Mostly because I was like, I don't know what to do with this. But I also wanted to send photos to everyone that I know. You know what? I'll put the photo in here. Fuck it. If you're not watching the video version of this podcast, specifically this episode, like you should be, I'm wearing a bikini and a ski mask, okay? Where did I leave off, man? Oh, I just feel like, because Halloween's on a Tuesday, the festivities are literally starting in 48 hours. I feel like by Tuesday night, I am going to be probably needing to recover. I wanted to go to Vegas for like a few days during the weekend, but we couldn't because we had some stuff here. And then I was like, okay, I'll just go Monday and Tuesday. But you know, I don't know if my 29-year-old ass could handle that after like a 4-day bender. I mean, let's be real, I could absolutely handle it, but should I? Probably not. Probably not. Also, my boyfriend's going out of town at like midnight or some shit. What's gonna happen is I'm either gonna take him to the airport and then go to the club. I'm gonna take him to the airport and then go to one of my friend's house and give out candy. Wait, no, because you do that way earlier. There's no trick-or-treaters at 1 a.m. Okay, not that one. Or I'll just take him to the airport and then go home and rot. No, go home and like have some self-care because I'm probably going to be needing it. I already need self-care. I already like have not recovered from this past weekend. I'm missing teeth. Like my teeth are falling out. This is literally that dream where your teeth fall out. Although it's never been like a crown or like a molar. It's always like the front ones. You know what I mean? It is kind of fucking terrifying though. And also just like the psychological disturbance of biting into something or chewing on something and then just I don't know how to explain it other than, you know, crunching on bones. It's like truly a horrible thing. So anyway, now I have half of a tooth on top and basically no tooth on my back molar. So I need to get that fixed. I don't know. I'm sure I'll have an interesting recap of the weekend when I come back next week. Actually, I'll be podcasting again before it's even Halloween, which is crazy. So yeah, I'll talk to you on Monday. That'll be like right after my fucking 4-day bender. There's probably stuff happening Monday too, actually. So I'm so annoyed with my camera, like not recognizing that I'm a face, and so it like won't adjust the lighting properly. Allow me to remind you that I am a face. Oh yes, I do have a star on my chin. Okay, I keep seeing this. I feel like it's against my will. I mean, it's technically not, because like I'm the one that will be like posting on TikTok, and then I'll see this TikTok, or I'll see it on Twitter or fucking X. I keep seeing this theory / rule / whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should just fucking talk about it, and then maybe it'll stop coming up on my algorithm. Although that's probably the exact opposite of what's going to happen, because our devices are listening to us. Hey, how y'all doing? But it is the whole theory rule on getting engaged and married and the time span of it all. So essentially, allow me to regurgitate what I have gathered. I've seen like experts talking about it. I've also seen just, I don't know, people in relationships. I've seen married people. I've seen people that don't want to get married, whatever. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. The rule is essentially that if you are in usually your mid to late 20s or beyond, if you're not engaged with a date set for a wedding within a year, there's something wrong. If you're not engaged and you want to be engaged, I guess you're being like strung along. If your dude doesn't propose and have a date set within a year, then like he's not your dude. And everyone's using like the, if a man loves you, he'll be obsessed with you, and a man will swim across shark-infested waters to bring you a fucking lemonade if it's the right one. It is very fucking loud outside. So yes, a man swimming across shark-infested waters to bring you a lemonade. Oh my god, I should tell my best friend that, because her ex-boyfriend quite literally got eaten by sharks. And it's not funny. It's not funny. It's not funny, but okay, the reason it's funny is because first of all, they weren't together when it happened, and he did cheat on her and give her chlamydia. So, not that means someone should be eaten by sharks, but it happened. Anywho, a couple years later, I was in Arizona visiting her, and she was with her then boyfriend, and I was with my ex and a friend. We told him about it. She was like, yeah, my ex got eaten by sharks. And my ex was like, oh wow, is he alive? That really just sums him up as a person. She was like, he got eaten by sharks. And my ex was like, oh, is he alive? So that's like the funny part of that. Not funny that he got eaten by sharks. Anyway, I do think it would be funny if someone gave that advice to her. So maybe that should be me. So essentially, this whole thing, there's nuance. I have my opinion. And also, I don't really give a fuck what anyone else does. But let's just fucking talk about it. I also think, yes, like if someone loves you and if it's the right person, like they're going to be obsessed with you. They're going to do all of the things, right? They'll want it if they want it. Like they'll want it if they want you. Further on this theory rule is like the 3-month rule, which is 3 months into dating. Like you should have had a conversation about it. I agree with that. And then all of these experts, I don't know what their qualifications are, but they're saying that 4 months max into it, the guy will know if he thinks you're the one. I mean, I guess I kind of agree with that. I feel like if you're having to decide, I don't know if that's the best sign, you know? As much as months and years are sort of just arbitrary, I guess there is like kind of some merit to this. Anyway, continuing on the theory. By 6 months, there should be no surprises or secrets left, and all trauma should be out there, etc. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like you're always going to be learning things about someone's past, but yeah, like the big things should for sure be out there. And what else is there to this theory? The reason it's a year is because it's kind of, I guess, allowing for like outside circumstances, because people are saying it shouldn't even be that long. It really should be 6 months max. The important part of it apparently is the date. Like the engagement and the ring doesn't matter, because he will just, he could keep putting it off, whatever. It's like the date that matters. To each their own, I guess, but I don't really care about that. Also, this whole concept, it's not a new thing. I don't know if it's just like having a resurgence because of social media. It's weird how like randomly things will come back up that I learned when I was super young. Like I remember recently, maybe within the last year, everyone was talking about the love languages, the 5 love languages, and right now it's like attachment theory, and it's like, these aren't new things, guys. Like, hello. Anyway, I used to think that this whole theory, this rule was dumb, and like that's not how things are. You can't put everyone in a box like that, which you can't. But also, the older that I get, I kind of totally understand it. It definitely shouldn't take forever to quote unquote decide. And like if it doesn't happen within a year, and if both of you guys mutually want marriage and it's important to you, then yeah, it's a bit of I hate to say waste of time, but kind of. It doesn't make much sense. And obviously I'm not talking about people that mutually don't care to be engaged or married to one another. Like that's like live your life. This is just, if both people want it and you're not like in your, I would say, early to mid 20s. Yeah, I just think there's so much nuance to this, and everyone's talking about the rule like it's like Bible and there isn't wiggle room. I guess I'll just talk about what I think, because like I said, I don't give a fuck what anyone else does. And there are so many situations where like the guy isn't financially stable, which I feel like is a huge reason why a guy will say he's not ready if he doesn't feel like he can, take care of someone and have a family and all of that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about those situations where it's about like money, or there's another circumstance, or something doesn't feel right, or people don't want to get married. So in my scenario, okay, this is when 2 people want it for their future and want marriage for the future, and they're dating, and there's no fucking reason why they would be dating if it weren't for the goal of marriage. Then yes, if he's not proposing, then there's like an issue there. If there are any obvious roadblocks or reasons why it can't happen, and if there aren't discussions about those things, then I do think, yeah, why? The idea is that like he's stringing you along, which maybe, but I don't think it's necessarily manipulative all of the time. Probably battling some things inside himself with maybe like freedom or independence or just whatever it is. I guess I just think that this whole theory rule I see people that are like 21 talking about it on TikTok and being like, this is so fucking not true, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, yeah, you're 21. We're not talking to you, okay? Go to your room and drink some milk. We're not talking about you, children. I was engaged once for a short period of time. I was younger, and we had been together for almost 3 years. However, we waited until I finished undergrad, literally like right after I graduated. He already had like a very stable job. So yes, we were younger. So that's not really quite even what I'm talking about with this whole theory, but it just does go to show that, first of all, if he wants to, he will. And then once any circumstances that were either preventing being engaged, or, there's just sometimes things that like a place you want to be at in your life. Am I making any sense? I don't know. But it's something that I haven't cared about in my last 3 relationships after the one where I was engaged, up until the end of the last one. Firstly, because I was like in my early and mid 20s for those relationships. And then for the last one, I started thinking about all of this because I got pregnant. And we were talking about what are we going to do, and like blah, blah, blah. And he told me he wanted to be engaged within 6 months, which made sense because like, I was pregnant. We had been together for, how fucking long were we together? I don't even, maybe it was only a year and a half. Yeah. So like a year and a half. But yeah, since then, I've realized that this whole rule, whatever you want to call it, I don't want to call it a rule. This wisdom, this gentle advice actually has kind of a lot of merit to it. And I feel like it could save us from a lot of hurt and resentment and what can maybe feel like time wasted. I think obviously just know what you want. And then at a certain point, if it hasn't happened, then obviously voice what you want and then just go from there. Also, I personally want to wait until I'm engaged, like to move in with someone. I did live with the person that I was engaged to before, but that is because I was full-time working and I was in school full-time, my 3rd year of school, and like I was finishing it up that year, and he had like a house that was paid for and whatever, so it just made the most sense. We also had like shared animals and stuff, so it also just kind of felt like we were already engaged because we were really just waiting till like I finished school. Anywho, but since then I haven't lived with anyone. I've had long relationships and I haven't moved in with them. Also, I feel like what the fuck am I even talking about anymore? Why are we talking about this? I think this is the other important. I'm getting dizzy. I think it's this ski mask. The other thing that matters, I think, is the length of the engagement. So personally, I want like a semi-long engagement. And so that just kind of further strengthens the idea that a proposal should be sooner rather than later. Oh my God, I feel like I'm going to pass out. What's going on? It's not like I can't breathe. Oh my God, could you imagine? It's because I didn't take my iron gummy. That's literally the only thing I can think of. It's because I'm very anemic and I take iron every day. Honestly, just because I didn't take the one iron gummy, I'm like, oh, I'm about to pass out. Fuck that doctor, man. But yeah, I think if you're getting engaged within the first year of dating, then your engagement probably should be like around a year-ish long. It just makes sense to me. And actually, I was like looking into this, and all of this is backed by data that shows, obviously, you know, lasting power for marriages. But of course, there are so many other things that factor into a marriage lasting aside from the length of an engagement or the length of time that you've been dating. But if we're just talking about that, I'm not citing any sources here, okay? I already closed those tabs out. But basically, what I gathered is that a lot of experts and studies, I guess, say that if you are both in your 20s, then you should be dating for 12 to 14 months before getting engaged. This isn't like you should do this. It's just saying like that shows a higher rate of success for lasting marriages. So date 12 to 24 months before getting engaged. Later than that, as far as age-wise, I guess the correlation between the length of dating and getting engaged, or even the length of dating and getting married, really isn't significant. Like, it's negligible. It's just not significant enough for there to even be any sort of guidance there, especially I think after you're 25 for most people. But actually, yeah, a lot of the studies were saying that after you're 25, 3 to 6 months is enough time to get engaged. But then presumably, I would say the engagement should be longer as you get to know each other more. It obviously all varies based on the people and circumstances, but personally, like I said, I like the idea of a longer engagement. Not like fucking 10 years, but at least a year. In the spirit of romanticizing life, I feel like it's sort of the calm before the storm, like the period that you're engaged to someone. Not that marriage itself is a storm. However, planning a wedding and doing all of that admin stuff, stressful, and being engaged and being fiancés, calling someone your fiance, being someone's fiance, I feel like that's like one of the most magical times of your life. I mean, it's so Parisian, I don't know how else to explain it. It's just so, it's not, this is my boyfriend, this is my husband. The day that I have to say this is my husband, I'm going to be like, and I'm officially shriveled up and old. This is my fiance. It's like, oh, you guys are still fucking. This is my fiance is like, oh, they're still getting fucking crazy. In fact, they're getting crazier than they were before because they're fiancés now, but they're not married yet. I would be a fiance my whole life if I could. I love that. I love the idea of that. I feel like that would be a way for me to really romanticize my life more. Me saying this and then like catching a glimpse of myself in the viewfinder just fully in a ski mask is a little bit weird. Personally, this is all personally. Like I said, do what the fuck you want. I don't give a fuck. Meet someone, get married the next day, date someone for 5 years, find out that he's probably cheating on you and it's not going to propose. No, date someone for 5 years, get engaged, whatever. I just think I don't want to rush a wedding. I don't want to get engaged and be like, okay, now we must plan. First of all, I'm never going to be like that because I don't want a crazy wedding. Contrary to probably what you would think about me, I don't want that many people there. Oh, okay. Like I said, I don't care what anyone does with their life. I'm not giving this as advice. Not that I fucking created this concept because clearly it's like an established theory of sorts, rule of sorts, but I'm just here to talk, okay? But I do have to add my own opinion because the man needs to wear an engagement ring. That's my one gripe. Well, there are probably many, but why am I visibly taken, but you're not? You trying to be slick? You trying to be sly? You trying to still fucking hook up with people while we're supposed to be engaged? Fiancés? Parisian vibes? No. No, thank you. You're wearing a ring too, bitch. We're both wearing rings. And you're gonna move it over to your left hand, or I will, or whoever the fuck does it, on the wedding day, just like me. When you move it from the right to the left hand, okay? But you're wearing a ring throughout the engagement. Look, I am not opposed to certain traditional things. I'm so very much go with the flow that like, even if I think it's kind of dumb, I don't feel that strongly about it. We can do it. But this isn't even a traditional thing. This is like a here and now present day thing. Like, wear a fucking ring. Also, I apparently have a lot to say about this, which is crazy because I like literally I've never been one to think about like weddings or any of this shit, but I don't know why the fuck I'm suddenly thinking about it. Like I said, I'm not opposed to certain traditional things. I understand that a lot of people are like, my dad's not giving me away. You know, I understand the nuance there. And I do think it's fucking weird, right? Like, doesn't it go back to like cattle or something? I wouldn't be like, how dare you? I don't know why I'm suddenly have that. I don't know where. Okay. If someone were to ask my dad for permission, here's what I think and here's what I want. I do want someone to talk to my dad and ask quote unquote permission out of respect. However, here's why I have a little bone to pick, but not really, because I think I've chewed on enough bones for one day. If you just listened to this part of the podcast, that would be a very weird out of context sentence, but I want my mom there too, okay? I don't see it as asking permission as much as it's just to like be respectful and like get the blessing, I guess, whatever you want to fucking call it. I mean, honestly, just clue my parents in on what's going on in my life. God knows that I'm not, so it'd probably just be nice for you to do on my behalf, because like I'm horrible at communicating with them, you know what I mean? Anyway, I want my mom there. Hello? Why is it just the dad? My mom pushed me out of her vagina. And by the way, I was a VBAC, okay? A vaginal birth after C-section. So, goddamn, woman. My mom also raised me and had equal, if not more impact, at least on me as a child. You know, I love them both equally, and they both fucking raised me. I just think asking, I don't know, I think it's cool. Ask the dad permission, do whatever the fuck you want, but like, I want my mom there too, okay? And also, I trust my mom's judgment. Actually, you know what? I trust both of their judgment a lot. And also, I feel like if I'm at the point where someone's asking my parents or telling my parents that they're gonna marry me, like, number one, I don't need the blessing. Number two, they're gonna give it. So I want my mom there. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, God, you know what? I have so many thoughts on this that I didn't even know that I had until I started thinking about it. But walking down the aisle, having your dad walk you down the aisle and give you away, I mean, it's weird. Like, I wouldn't say no to it because, like I said, I don't fucking care that much. But just think about it, okay? I have lived on my own. If I got married tomorrow, okay, I have lived on my own for 11 years? 12? Regardless, I'm not moving out of my parents' house into a guy's house. And, like, I don't really need to be given away like a freaking cow. I know there's some kind of correlation between, like, cattle and fathers, and there's like a dowry, whatever. So like, I'll walk with both of them, both my parents down the aisle, and I'll stop halfway actually, because I want my own moment, and then I'll give myself away. But also, I'm not giving myself away. I don't fucking know what's going on. Also, oh my God, see, now I'm getting heated. I think it's weird that there's a father-daughter dance and a mother-son dance, but not vice versa. And you know what makes me sad? My mom has 5 daughters, and so what, she's just left out of all the important wedding things because she doesn't have a son. And like, a woman with sons, or at least one son, like, gets to do all the wedding things. Like, and I'm not saying there shouldn't be a father-daughter dance and there shouldn't be a mother-son dance, but guess what? I want to dance with my mom too, okay? And I want him to dance with his dad too. I don't know how that would look. I actually don't care what he does. I'm dancing with both of my parents, okay? I need to stop talking about weddings. I don't even want a big wedding. I'm also not planning a wedding. I've just thoughts that I've had recently, probably because I rediscovered Pinterest and it's making me romanticize every single thing in my life, which is great. But now I'm starting to think about the fact that, is a bride just a symbol for a cow? And why are the dads making all these decisions when, like, they're the dumb ones? Not really, not actually, but I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna do that, if we're gonna include the parents, okay? I want my mom too. I want my mom. I need my mom. Anyway, that's enough fucking wedding talk. I promise I'll never talk about that again until it makes more sense for me to talk about that. I like how I'm like, last night I'm talking about fucking having a baby in a mommy vlog channel. What is going on? And this is not the outfit to do this episode in. And also, I don't have strong opinions either way with anything, you know? I need something to rant about, but it's also like, nothing is that serious to me. So, especially wedding shit. Like, I, for the most part, wanted to get married like alone and with like a close family, and that's about it. But I do, you know what? I take it back. The thing that I do feel strongly about is the ring. You're not going to pull one over on me like that. Make me walk around telling everyone that I'm fucking taken while you walk around with a naked finger ready to stick in someone's vagina. No, you're wearing an engagement ring, bitch. But I'm not buying it for you. Why? I'm getting angry. Oh, I have a question. Now that I just talked for an hour about weddings, sharp left turn. What is the time span on fulfilling a bet? So if you're making a bet with someone wins, and there's like something that the other person has to do or that they have to give up or do. Does the time span need to be established at the time of the bet? when the bed is made and if there's not a time span established, because I feel like there's usually not. Like, for example, if you're betting about something and you're like, you have to shave your head if you lose, you're not necessarily saying like within 2 weeks or like by next Thursday. You know what I mean? So how long can you reasonably wait to fulfill said punishment, said agreed upon task, whatever it is, before the other person who won the bet can then establish and implement a time frame? How much notice do you have to give was my other question, because apparently saying if you don't get a tattoo tonight you will never hear from me again is like too tight of a deadline. But like, I don't know why you didn't do it yet. You know, it's been over a week. What are the thoughts on that? Assuming that it doesn't have to be established at the time of the bet. It probably should be, but like, let's just say there was no time frame established. How long can you reasonably wait to fulfill it if you're the person that lost? And then if you're the other person, if you're the person that won, aka me in this totally made up scenario, how much notice do I have to give for the time frame, and what's the vibe with that? Let me know. I really feel as though I have talked so much. I want to get this up today, so I need to edit it, so we might have to skip the voicemails this week. Also, the phone booth, guess where it is still? In my car. Yep, I'm actually going to make a note to get that out of my car when I leave tonight. There's no reason that phone booth needs to be in my fucking car. Clearly, I just have enough to talk about that I don't need a phone booth. Who even am I? I have all these thoughts on weddings. It's weird how when like you actually think about something that you haven't thought about much, turns out you might have some interesting opinions on it. It's like one of those things that like I never thought about. I never like imagined my wedding. It was more like, I talked about this before, but like I remember being younger and just imagining like being at an ultrasound with someone. Like that's like the vision that I have in my head, not like what are the colors of the wedding party. I also like, I don't even think about a bachelorette party. Like my whole life has been a bachelorette party. I'm sure I'll have one, but like I'm not thinking about it. I don't know. Anyway, this was a fucking weird episode, man. And not just because I'm dressed like this, but I think someone just needs to take the mic away from me right now. I think not sleeping. In fact, I'm gonna take the mic away from myself because I have to go make a handy dandy notebook. And that's not a joke. There's so many things that I have to make, you guys. I have to go into Susie homemaker mode, which means I need to take off my ski mask, my bikini, put on my pantaloons. Wait, not pantaloons. Bloomers. Put on my bloomers. No, what am I thinking of? Put on my gunny sacks dress? I don't know. Put on like a little Susie homemaker-esque dress and maybe like an apron and some sensible heels and get to crafting, okay? I have 19 different personalities and that's just something that you should know about me. Please subscribe and leave 5 stars and like a review also.